Virginia, 1859. The night the lanterns went dark, and Charlotte Bohannon learned that the past doesn't stay buried, especially beneath the magnolia tree. The night the lanterns went dark, the first thing Charlotte Bohannon Bohannon ever killed was a copperhead. She was 9, barefoot, chasing fireflies across the west pasture of Shadow Ridge Farm when the snake struck at her little brother, Eli. Charlotte didn't scream. She snatched a hoe from the fence line, brought it down in one clean arc, and split the serpent's skull like a ripe melon. Blood hissed on the hot iron. Eli bawled. Their daddy, Ensign Sr., laughed so hard he near choked on his cheroot. That was the day Charlotte learned two things. Fear is a luxury you can't afford when family's on the line. Some things only die when you hit them hard enough to forget they were ever alive. 23 years later, on a moonless night in April 1859, she would need both lessons again. The lantern in the barn guttered. Charlotte froze mid-step on the hayloft ladder, one gloved hand on the rung, the other clutching a cold dragoon so heavy it made her wrist ache. Below, the Underground Railroad station, an old tobacco drying shed disguised as a tool shed, was supposed to be empty. But someone was humming, a low off-key spiritual. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children. The voice belonged to a man, and he wasn't one of theirs. She eased the hammer back, clicked, the sound swallowed by the storm rolling in from the Blue Ridge. Rain hammered the tin roof like buckshot. Thunder growled, close enough to rattle her teeth. See. Charlotte descended 2 rungs, boots silent on the wood, until she could peer through the slats. Candlelight flickered across a stranger's face. High cheekbones, skin the color of river clay, eyes that caught the flame and threw it back like polished obsidian. He wore a Union blue greatcoat 2 sizes too big and a slouch hat pulled low. In his left hand, a map. In his right, her husband's pocket watch. The one Ensign Bohannon and son Bohannon had carried since Appomattox. The one that had stopped ticking the night he vanished. Charlotte's heart slammed against her ribs. Ensign's alive. Or the stranger had cut the watch off a corpse. Either way, the men below knew something. She raised the dragoon. The stranger's humming stopped. He looked up straight at the loft, straight through the dark, straight into her soul. Evelyn, Miss Bohannon, he said, soft as silk, hard as iron. Reckon you'll wanna hear what I got for you. Pull that trigger. His accent was Carolina coast. Vowels stretched like taffy. Charlotte's finger whitened on the trigger. Name, she said. Folks call me preacher. On account I used to quote scripture 4 I started quote and lead. He lifted the watch, let it spin on its chain. The crystal was cracked. A smear of dried blood freckled the face. Found this on a dead man in Lynchburg. He was babblin' 'bout gold. Beale gold. Said your husband knew where it was buried. Charlotte's stomach lurched. The Beale ciphers. 3 encrypted pamphlets published in 1885, except the war had scrambled time, and rumors now placed the treasure's burial a decade early, somewhere in Bedford County. $2 million in gold and jewels. Enough to buy a nation, or burn one down. Preacher folded the map with deliberate care. Lightning flashed. For one strobe bright second, Charlotte saw the paper's watermark, a magnolia blossom. Same as the tree out back. Same as the one her great-granddaddy planted the day Virginia seceded. You come to my barn, wave my husband's watch, and talk fairy tales? She said. Ain't fairy tales if men are dying for 'em. Preacher stepped into the candlelight. A scar ran from his left ear to the corner of his mouth, pale as a fish belly. Your ensign? He's alive, for now. But the man holding him, he goes by Silas Crowe in the patient type. Outside, a horse whickered. Then another, hooves on wet gravel. Headlights no. Lanterns swept across the barn doors. 3, 4, 5 riders. Charlotte's blood turned to ice. Slave catchers, or worse, Crowe's men. Preacher blew out the candle. Darkness swallowed them. Decision time. Miss Charlotte, he whispered. Help me get your husband, or let Silas burn this farm to ash. Looking for that map. The barn doors rattled. A fist pounded. Open up, Bohannon. Federal warrant. Charlotte's mind raced. The fugitives' 3 runaway mothers and their babies were hidden beneath the false floor. If the catchers found them, Shadow Ridge would hang. She made her choice. Loft, she hissed. Now. They scrambled up the ladder as the doors splintered inward. Boots thundered across the dirt. Charlotte yanked a pitchfork, jammed it through the loft's trapdoor ring, and wedged it under a beam. Below, a lantern swept the stalls. Spread out. A voice barked Virginia aristocracy soaked in bourbon. She's harboring runaways. Find him. String her up. A boot kicked the ladder. Wood groaned. Preacher drew a Bowie knife the length of a forearm. Time to earn that scripture I used to quote, he said, and grinned like the devil inviting her to dance. The loft trapdoor exploded upward. A catcher's face appeared pockmarked, pig-eyed, grinning. Charlotte fired the dragoon. The roar was deafening. The man's head snapped back. Blood painted the hay like thrown paint. His body tumbled into the men below. Chaos erupted. Preacher vaulted over the loft rail, knife flashing. Charlotte reloaded one shot at a time, powder and ball, fingers steady as a surgeon. Below, fugitives screamed from the hidden cellar. She couldn't leave them, couldn't save Ensign and the farm both. Preacher carved a path through two catchers, gutting one, hamstringing another. Go, he roared. I'll hold them. Charlotte hesitated half a heartbeat. Then she ran across the loft, out the hay door, into the storm. Rain slashed sideways. Lightning strobed. She hit the mud, rolled, came up running. The magnolia tree loomed ahead, ancient, gnarled, its waxy leaves glistening like polished armor. She skidded to a stop at its base. The map said midnight. It was 11:47. Charlotte clawed at the roots. Mud sucked at her boots. Her fingers struck metal, a rusted iron ring bolted to a stone. She heaved. A slab of earth lifted like a coffin lid. Steps spiraled down into blackness. A tunnel. The Underground Railroad's back door. And maybe Ensign's front door to hell. She lit a lucifer match. The flame revealed walls shored with whiskey barrels. At the bottom, a door, padlocked. Fresh scratches on the hasp. Someone had been here tonight. Behind her, gunfire cracked. Preacher still fighting. Charlotte smashed a padlock with the dragoon's butt. Metal screamed. The door swung inward on oiled hinges. Candlelight spilled out. And there, chained to an iron ring in the floor, was Ensign, shirt torn, face swollen, one eye blackened shut, but alive. Footsteps echoed in the tunnel, booth heels on stone. Silas Crowe stepped into the light. Tall, lean, hair the color of frost on a grave. He wore a black duster and a smile sharp enough to shave with. Evan and Mrs. Bohinnon, you're early. In his hand, a Lumet revolver. 9 shots plus a shotgun barrel. Behind him, 4-man rifles leveled. Charlotte raised the empty dragoon like a club. Crowe clucked his tongue. Map, he said, or I put a ball in your husband's other eye. Ensign's fingers dug into her arm. Give it, he whispered. It's fake. Charlotte's eyes flicked to the map, then to the Magnolia Blossom watermark. Fake. A decoy. The real cipher was tattooed on the inside of Ensign's forearm, hidden under weeks of grime. She'd seen it the night he vanished, drunk on peach brandy, swearing he'd never let the gold fund another war. Charlotte smiled. Slow, southern, deadly. You won the map. She held it up. Fetch. She tore it in half, stuffed one piece in her bodice, the other in Ensign's mouth. Swallow, she hissed. Ensign choked it down. Crowe's smile vanished. Kill them, he said. The tunnel exploded in muzzle flash. Charlotte shoved Ensign behind a barrel, rolled left. Bullets whined off stone. She came up firing. Somehow the dragoon had 1 round left. A catcher dropped. Knee shattered. Ensign grabbed a dead man's rifle, worked the lever like he'd never left the war. Crowe ducked into shadow. Preacher burst through the tunnel door, coat on fire, Bowie knife dripping. Party's upstairs, he bellowed. Barns burnin'. Smoke billowed down the steps. The fugitives' mothers and babies screamed from the cellar. Charlotte made the second hardest choice of her life. Preacher, get the runaways out the river exit. He nodded once, vanished. Crowe's voice echoed. Gold's mine, Charlotte. Signed by Jefferson Davis himself. You stopped me. You stopped the Confederacy. Ensign laughed, wet, ragged. Jeff Davis couldn't find his ass with both hands and a map, he spat. That gold's cursed. Every man who's touched it's dead. Crowe stepped into the light. Lemad aimed at Ensign's head. Last chance. Charlotte's hand closed on something cold in the dirt, a blasting cap. Dynamite. Left by Ensign weeks ago when he'd been tunneling escape routes. She yanked the fuse, bit it short. Ensign, run. She hurled the cap at Crowe's feet. He looked down. Realization dawned. Charlotte tackled Ensign into the side tunnel as the world turned white. Boom! The explosion collapsed the ceiling. Stone rained. Dust choked the air. When Charlotte's ears stopped ringing, she was pinned under a beam, Ensign half-conscious beside her. Crowe was gone, buried or fled. Above, the magnolia tree groaned, roots exposed like broken fingers. Dawn bled pink over the ruins of Shadow Ridge. The barn was ash. The house stood, windows blown out. Preacher limped from the riverbank, soot-streaked, carrying a baby in each arm. The mothers followed, weeping gratitude. Charlotte sat beneath the half-uprooted magnolia, Ensign's head in her lap. She traced a tattoo on his arm. Beneath the tree where traitors hang, the devil guards WH-80 fools demand the real cipher. A U.S. Marshal's badge glinted on the horizon. Reinforcements or executioners? Charlotte kissed Ensign's forehead. Ready to run? She asked. He grinned through split lips. Born ready. As they staggered into the woods, a child's voice carried on the wind. Mama, look, a man in the tree. Charlotte turned. Silas Crowe hung from the magnolia's lowest branch. Neck snapped, eyes wide, a gold coin jammed between his teeth, carved into the bark beneath him. One down, two to go. Miles away, in a Richmond parlor, a woman in mourning black unfolded a telegram. It read, Crowe dead, map gone, send the twins. Silas Crowe hung from the magnolia's lowest branch. Neck snapped, eyes wide, a gold coin gemmed between his teeth, carved into the bark beneath him. One down, two to go. Miles away, in a Richmond parlor, a woman in mourning black unfolded a telegram. It read, Crowe dead, map gone, send the twins. The woman in mourning black wasn't just any widow. Her name was Evelyn Crowe, Evelyn Crowe, and she'd buried 3 husbands before the ink dried on the Confederacy's surrender papers. Each one richer than the last. Each one deader than a doornail. Folks in Richmond whispered she had a touch of the voodoo Louisiana blood from her mama's side. But Evelyn knew better. It wasn't spells that killed them. It was ambition. And now, with Silas dangling from that cursed tree like a forgotten ornament, she needed new hounds for the hunt. She crumpled the telegram, fed it to the hearth fire, and turned to the 2 figures lurking in the parlor's shadows. The twins, she said, voice smooth as aged bourbon. Time to earn your keep. The twins weren't actual twins. Not by blood, anyway. Jeb and Zeb Harlan had been born on the same stormy night in the same Alabama hollow, to different mamas who'd shared the same no-good daddy. They looked enough alike to fool a jury, tall, raw-boned, with eyes like chipped flint and beards that hid scars from 100 barroom brawls. Jeb favored a scattergun. Zeb preferred piano wire. Together, they'd tracked bounties from the Mississippi to the Potomac, leaving a trail of shallow graves. Evelyn slid a pouch across the mahogany table. Gold coins clinked. Half now, she said. Half when you bring me the Bohinons and that map. Jeb pocketed the pouch without counting. Zeb leaned forward, his breath smelling of chewing tobacco and bad decisions. What's so special about this gold, Miss Crowe? He drawled. Beale's treasure ain't that just campfire yarn? Evelyn's lips curved, not quite a smile. Jefferson Davis didn't think so. He hid it to fund the South's resurrection. Codes and pamphlets, buried in Virginia clay. My Silas cracked the first cipher. Your job's to fetch the rest from Ensign Bohinon's hide if need be. Outside, a carriage rattled up the drive. A knock echoed sharp, official. Evelyn stiffened. U.S. Marshals. Word of Silas's death had traveled fast. She nodded to the twins. Back door. Ride hard for Bedford County. Shadow Ridge is ash, but the Bohinons'll head north underground railroad lines to Pennsylvania. Jeb tipped his hat. Zeb spat on the Persian rug. They slipped out like smoke. Evelyn smoothed her skirts, opened the door, and played the grieving widow to perfection. Cut to the woods north of Shadow Ridge. Charlotte Bohinon stumbled through briars. Ensign, leaning heavy on her shoulder, his ribs were cracked. Every breath wheezed like a punctured bellows. Preacher trailed behind, Bowie knife sheathed but hand never far from the hilt. The fugitives, the 3 mothers and their squalling babies, had scattered at the river, bound for Quaker safe houses in Lynchburg. Charlotte's farm was gone, her life torched, but the cipher on Ensign's arm burned brighter than any flame. They broke into a clearing at dusk, a derelict cabin squatted by a creek, roof sagging like a drunk's shoulders. "Rest here," Charlotte said, easing Ensign onto a rotting porch. Preacher scouted the perimeter, came back with a handful of wild onions and a worried frown. "Hoofprints," he muttered. "Fresh. 2 riders, heavy laden." Ensign coughed, spat blood. "Crow's dogs. Gotta be." Charlotte traced a tattoo. "Beneath the tree where traitors hang, the devil guards WH-80 Fool's demand." "Next line," she asked. Ensign winced. "Ain't just ink. It's a riddle. Trees the Magnolia. Traitors rebels like Davis. Devil's the guardian. Maybe a statue? Or a cave." Night fell hard. They barricaded the door with a busted table. Preacher built a smokeless fire in the hearth. Charlotte cleaned Ensign's wounds with creek water and torn petticoat strips. "You shoulda left me," Ensign whispered. She smacked his arm light, but it stung. "Shut your fool mouth. Bohennons don't leave kin." A twig snapped outside. Preacher doused the fire. Charlotte grabbed the dragoon, reloaded now, courtesy of a dead catcher's powder horn. Through the cracked window, 2 shadows dismounting. "Jeb and Zeb. Smell that?" Jeb sniffed. "Wood smoke. They're inside." Zeb uncoiled his wire. "Let's make him sing," Preacher whispered. "I'll flank left. You cover the door." Ensign gripped a splintered chair leg like a club. The door rattled. Then boom, Jeb kicked it in. Scattergun roared. Wood chips flew. Charlotte fired blind into the dark, hit Jeb in the shoulder. He yelped, spun. Zeb lunged, wire whipping like a snake. Preacher tackled him from the side, knife sinking into thigh meat. Blood sprayed. Ensign swung the chair leg, cracked Zeb across the jaw. Bone crunched. The cabin devolved into a whirlwind of fists, grunts, and gunfire. Jeb rolled out the door, clutching his wound. "Zeb, fall back!" Zeb, face a mask of rage, headbutted Preacher. Cartilage popped. Preacher staggered. Charlotte reloaded, but Zeb was on her wire around her throat. Stars exploded in her vision. Ensign roared, drove the chair leg into Zeb's kidney. Zeb howled, released her. Preacher finished him with a slash across the hamstrings. Zeb collapsed, gurgling. Jeb fled into the woods, horse thundering away. They bound Zeb's wounds barely. "Who sent you?" Charlotte demanded, pressing the dragoon to his temple. Zeb spat a tooth. "Evelyn Crowe, Silas's widow. She wants the gold for the South's revenge." Ensign laughed bitterly. "South's dead, buried at Appomattox." Zeb's eyes gleamed. "Not if that treasure buys guns and generals." Preacher cleaned his knife on Zeb's shirt. "What's the play?" Charlotte eyed the tattoo. "We beat him to it. Decode the rest, dig it up, melt it down if we have to. No more blood for buried dreams." Dawn brought rain again. They left Zeb trussed to a tree alive, but hobbled. "Let the marshals find him." The trio pushed north, following the cipher's clues. "Devil guards," Ensign mused. "There's a Devil's Backbone Ridge near Bedford. Caves there, old Indian burial grounds." Charlotte nodded. 3 days hike. We'll need supplies." Preacher scouted a nearby town, Lexington. Risky, with wanted posters likely fresh off the press. But hunger won. In Lexington's general store, Charlotte bartered a gold locket for hardtack, jerky, and ammunition. The clerk, a weary man with spectacles, eyed her funny. "You look familiar, ma'am." She forced a smile. "Just passing through, outside." Preacher waited with stolen horses. Ensign mounted gingerly. They rode out straight into a marshal's ambush. Rifles cracked from rooftops. Ensign's horse reared through him. Charlotte wheeled, fired. The dragoon dropped one lawman. Preacher charged, Bowie flashing. Railroad sympathizers. The lead marshal bellowed, "Surrender." Ensign scrambled behind a water trough. Bullets pocked the dirt. Charlotte's mind raced. The cipher, the gold, Evelyn's web closing in. She spotted an alley escape. "Cover me," she yelled. Preacher laid down fire. She dragged Ensign into the shadows. They bolted through back streets, horses abandoned. Preacher caught up, bleeding from a grazed scalp. "Lost him," he panted, "but they'll telegraph ahead." Ensign clutched his side. "Devil's Backbone. We make it there. We vanish." The rain turned to sleet, stinging like accusations. 2 nights later, they reached a ridge. Jagged rocks thrust skyward like a spine from hell. Caves pocked the cliffs, black moss whispering wind. The cipher's next line, revealed under moonlight on Ensign's arm, where waters run red and bones lie bled. Blood Creek, Charlotte said. Old battle site from the Revolution. Water turns rust red from iron ore. They descended a goat path, lanterns low. Inside the largest cave, stalactites like fangs. Preacher tripped over something bones. Human, guardian, Ensign whispered. A scrape echoed deeper in. They froze. Jeb Harlan stepped from the gloom, scattergun leveled, shoulder bandaged. Evelyn folks? Miss Crowe sends her regards. Behind him, Evelyn herself, dress muddied, pistol in hand. How? Charlotte demanded. Evelyn smiled. Zeb talked before the marshals hanged him. Family loyalty only goes so far. Preacher lunged. Jeb's scattergun boomed, buckshot shredded the air. Preacher jerked, fell. Blood pooled. Ensign tackled Jeb. Fists flew. Charlotte drew on Evelyn. Drop it, Evelyn laughed. You won't shoot a woman, try me. The cave amplified every breath, every drip. Jeb overpowered Ensign, pinned him. Map, Evelyn said. Now. Ensign spat. It's memorized. Kill me. It dies too. Evelyn's eyes narrowed. Then we'll carve it out. Jeb drew a skinning knife. Charlotte's finger tightened, a shot echoed. Not hers. Jeb's head exploded. From the cave mouth, U.S. Marshal Harlan, no relation badge gleaming. Federal agents. Hands up. Evelyn whirled, fired wild. The marshal ducked. Charlotte shoved Ensign deeper into the cave. Run. They scrambled over rocks, lanterns shattering. Darkness swallowed them. Gunfire popped behind Evelyn vs. the law. Preacher's body lay still. Ensign gasped. The gold, it's here. Feel the wall. Charlotte's hands found carvings, Beale's symbols, a loose stone. She pried it free. Inside, a chest, heavy with promise. They heaved it open. Gold bars gleamed enough to buy a small army. Jewels sparkled like fallen stars. But atop, a note, yellowed. Cursed be he who takes this for war. Let it build, not burn. Jefferson Davis's signature. Ensign slammed it shut. We bury it deeper. Let history forget. Evelyn's scream echoed, cut short. Bootsteps approached. The marshal's voice. Bohannon's. Come out peaceful. Charlotte whispered. Back exit? Ensign nodded. Through the waters, they dragged the chest to an underground stream, red-tinged, cold as death. Waded in, chest floating. Emerged on the far ridge under stars. Preacher miraculously alive, buckshot in his coat. Not flesh limped from the brush. Played possum, he grinned. Old preacher trick. They buried the chest under a new magnolia sapling. New tree, Charlotte said. New beginning. But as they rode north, a shadow lingered. Evelyn's body wasn't found. And in Richmond, a new telegram arrived. Gold secure. Send reinforcements. Weeks blurred into evasion. Pennsylvania safe houses, then Ohio. Preacher parted ways at Cleveland, bound for Canada. Sermons waiting. Charlotte and Ensign settled in a Quaker farm, aliases fresh. But one night, a knock. Ensign opened the door to Evelyn Crowe, alive, scarred, smiling. Miss me? She held a derringer. Behind her, fresh twins, new hires. Ensign slammed the door. Bullets punched through wood. Charlotte grabbed the hidden dragoon. They fled out the back, into cornfields. Evelyn's voice chased. The gold calls, Bohannon's. It always comes home. Preacher returned like a ghost ambushed from the side. Knife work silent. One twin down. The chase spilled into town. Lanterns flared. Citizens screamed. Charlotte cornered Evelyn in a livery stable. "End this," she said. Evelyn laughed. "The South rises on that gold." Preacher burst in, wounded but fierce. Ensign disarmed the last twin. Evelyn raised her gun. Charlotte fired. Evelyn crumpled, whispering, cursed. Peace settled uneasy. They dug up the gold one last time, donated anonymous to abolitionists. Schools built, orphans fed, no wars funded. But under their new Magnolia, a carving appeared one dawn. 3 down, none to go. Years later, in 1861, as cannons thundered at Fort Sumter, a stranger visited their farm. He carried a map, familiar watermark. "Davis sends regards," he said. "The gold's work ain't done." Charlotte raised a dragoon. Old habits die hard. In a Washington office, Abraham Lincoln unfolded a report. Beale treasure rumors persist. Agents report Southern Widows network dismantled. But ciphers multiply. He sighed, penned a note. "Let it stay buried. We have enough devils above ground to be continued. American grit, redemption arcs, and endless southern shadows. What's next in the saga? Some roots grow deeper than blood, and some secrets never die.